Hello, my name is Pamela, and my topic is analysis on Canada's commercial partners, the importance of the Canada-United States-Mexico Agreement. To start, my research question is, did the renegotiations for the Canada-USA-Mexico Agreement positively affect Canada as a commercial partner? A little bit of background. In 1986, negotiations for a free trade agreement between Canada, the United States, and Mexico began. In 1992, NAFTA was signed by leaders of the respective countries and went into effect in January of 1994. There were certain tariffs that were eliminated or reduced. From 1994 to 2008, there was a continuous elimination of more tariffs in agricultural products, transportation, among others like sugar. Then, in 2017, negotiations to modernize the free trade agreement started, ending in 2018 and calling it CUSMA, the Canada-United States-Mexico Agreement. In January 2020, it became a legitimate agreement replacing NAFTA. So now, with more context about how NAFTA changed into CUSMA, we can delve into the negative impacts for this update. A lot of experts were especially worried about the automotive industry. CUSMA paid significant attention to steel and aluminum tariffs for Mexico and Canada, which are raw materials. Regional content value was also an important topic for final exports of auto parts and the raw materials that were used. Finally, a new topic in the agreement was the labor enhancement protection with minimum wages in the industry. Now, to refute this position, I want to talk about the positive impacts for this specific industry. First of all, there was a limit imposed for the exports of auto parts to the United States from Canada. Right now, auto parts exports are limited to up to 32.4 billion US dollars in declared customs value each year. Currently, Canada exports around $24.5 billion to the USA, and this makes up 95% of Canadian exports of this product. A limit was imposed for Mexico as well, and you can say both Mexico and Canada heavily depend on their export of auto parts to the USA. Even though this limit was imposed, there is still a lot of room for the industry to grow, and there will be a revision of the trade 16 years after the agreement went into effect. So it's possible to have an opportunity to increase this and for this country to continue growing the industry. Another positive impact were the tariffs to steel and aluminum. There were protective tariffs established for the import of these materials into the United States from Canada and Mexico. Even though the United States has a more protectionist approach for these materials, which are raw materials for the auto parts industry, they are more protective against China. The USA has an ongoing commercial war against China, and steel and aluminum are one of the severely affected materials because they are cheaper and even represent a risk for the Canadian steel industry. As a result, there was an increase in the percentage of regional value content of auto parts, meaning that these final products need to have a higher percentage of raw materials that come from within the region, which are Mexico, Canada, or the United States. Auto parts cannot contain a high percentage of Asian raw materials, which in result increase the necessity of Canadian raw materials like steel and aluminum. The last positive impact is the improvement of protections for labor. CUSMA includes requirements for all companies in the industry to pay minimum wage of 16 US dollars. This in result improves the well-being of employees, but it's important to notice that Canada's average wage in this industry is well above this requirement. So this didn't have much of an impact to the country, but actually negatively impacted Mexico, where the average worker in the industry is paid $3 per hour. Even with the help of salaries from engineers that are paid up to $22 per hour, Mexico still has a hard time averaging the minimum requirement of 16 US dollars per hour. In result, Mexican enterprises cannot comply and export auto parts to the USA. So what the United States wanted to do with this was for American automotive industries to build their auto parts producer plants in their home country. But actually, it is much easier to change production to Canada, where industries are already established and requirements are fulfilled. In conclusion, the renegotiations modifying NAFTA into CUSMA do affect Canada in a positive way as a commercial partner to both USA and Mexico. Trade between the North American region makes up almost 3/4 of Canadian exports. A much modernized and updated free trade agreement between the North American region was overdue, and this is beneficial in the long run to all the parties involved. This was my analysis on Canada's commercial partners. Thank you very much for watching.